Microsoft Copilot and Viva Days. I'm very happy to speak here. It's my first time in India, virtually, but that's also count, I hope. My session is about how AI changed my professional life. Before I start with my session, a little introduction of myself. My name is Christian Decker. I'm in the IT industry, as you see, for a long time, so for over 30 years. Most of the time I worked for the best Microsoft certified partners in Austria. I worked 9 years also for Microsoft as a partner technology advisor. So I know the company a little bit from the inside. That helps me a lot. Since 2017, I worked at ACP. ACP is one of the biggest Microsoft partner in Austria and in Germany. It's a solution provider. We sell hardware, software, licenses, and we do a lot of consulting in the Microsoft area. And my whole life, I was always concerned with the added value that IT can bring to people. So it was always important for me to bring a value, not to implement solutions, but to bring people a value for their daily life. I have a blog, derdecker.at, but sorry, most of the content is German, so maybe it will not help you. And I'm very happy and proud that I am the first and at the moment only security MVP in Austria. So yeah, what do I do to earn money? Not making presentations like this, but I support companies on their way to Microsoft 365 for governance, security, data protection, and user adoption. I developed standards for all this for my company, and since October, I work very hard on Copilot for Microsoft 365. We also have a standards for the implementing of Copilot into organizations. My place today, I'm not presenting from my normal house, my normal workplace. I'm here in my weekend house. I put in some pictures that you see that it's really beautiful here. My internet connection normally is very good. I have to apologize if it has any problems. It's not the hardwired internet connection, but I think we will do it. What is my session about? I will not explain you what Copilot for Web or Copilot for Microsoft 365 is. And this is not a session about how to do a good prompt or something like that. I developed this session in October. So since October, I'm collecting use cases for my own, and I collected also use cases from other people that I tried for me. And this session is all about the wow effects using artificial intelligence and mostly Copilot for Web and Copilot for Microsoft 365 in the daily life. So a lot of demos and only some PowerPoints. I will show you most of the stuff live. That's always very interesting showing Copilots live because the funny thing is that you never know what the answer is. So if you try the same prompt on different days, on different time of the day, you will get other replies. So I hope the replies are all good. I have one demo I show you only on PowerPoint because every time you show your real data, and Copilot for Microsoft 365 benefits a lot from your own working environment. there are some sensitivity information in it, and so I decided to bring this demo in PowerPoint. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Use the chat, raise your hand, and ask the question by microphone. So I'm happy to answer questions. So let's start with my first wow effect. And the first wow effect was really one of my first wow effects. And this use case shows you the difference between Google and Copilot. And let me explain the story around the use case. So I will always bring you to the use case. In Austria, we have a lovely city. It's Innsbruck. It's the capital of Tyrol. And Innsbruck is a very beautiful little town in the middle of the mountains. And if you are staying in the main area of the city, you see a lot of big mountains around. This mountain is called the Nordkette. And the funny thing in Innsbruck is there is the Nordkettenbahn, and I bring you here a photo of the entrance to the Nordkettenbahn, so the train up to the hills, and you can walk from the city to this station, enter this train, and go up around 2,000 meters to the top of the hill. So that's very funny in Innsbruck because you see people with skis and snowboards in their hand walking through the city, and they go there and go up to the mountain. And I was around 20, 30 times in Innsbruck, and I never went up to the Nordkettenbahn. And the last time in October, I asked myself, how long does it take to go up to the mountain, and how much money does it cost? And the normal way is to ask Google. So I asked Google, how long does the journey to the Nordkette take, and how much does it cost? And as always, Google gave me a lot of answers. So Google gave me a lot of web pages that contains the answers. You know this, you do it every day. And then I said, hey, wait, I have Copilot. Let's ask Copilot the same question. So I go to Copilot, and I prepared all of the questions. I go to Copilot for the web, and I ask him to be precise, and then I ask the same question to Copilot. And this is for me the best way to show the difference between searching with a search engine like Google that brings you web pages that may contain the answer, or to search with an artificial intelligence. And oh, that's funny because this answer is completely different from answers before. So I never get informations by taxi or by tram and taxi, but this is the cable car. And yeah, that's very funny because it does not bring the result I had the last time. That's the fun of bringing live demos. The last time it brings me the answer that there are several stations, and it brings the answer that it's about under half an hour to go with this car, and it brings me the costs. You see here the costs from 30 euros. So the result is that Copilot will give you the same answer that will give you a friend who knows all about the stuff, and this is the difference between Copilot and Google. And as always, and this is one difference between ChatGPT and Copilot for the web, Copilot for the web has access to the internet, and he brings you all the websites where he gets the information from. So if I need more information, I can go to these websites. So this was my first wow effect. This was really, really cool. So I decided to use, not sure if yeah, it's okay. So the second wow effect was I had a little chat at the coffee machine with my colleague, Erika. She works in accounting, and we are waiting for the coffee machine, preparing our coffee. And she told me that she's responsible for the invoices for our e-company cars. So we have a lot of Teslas in our company, and every month Tesla sends her a zip file, and inside of the zip files there is an folder for each company car, and inside this folder there is one PDF with the invoice of the chargings of this car. And she told me that she sits there every month for an hour or so, opening the zip file and copying every PDF to another folder. And she asked me, Christian, is there a way to put easily all PDF files to a single directory so that it don't take me an hour? And I'm an IT guy. I know the answer, but I told her, Erika, you have Copilot. Don't ask me, ask Copilot. The idea was not to be unpolite or that I was not willing to give her the answer. The idea was to show her that Copilot may help her a lot with this basic questions, and she do not need any IT guy to get answers to this question. So let's try it out. I changed to a new topic, and so I go with her to her computer, and we put the same question she asked me into the Copilot for the web, and let's see what Copilot gives us for an answer. And this is interesting because this is a very complicated answer. The last time I asked this question in the Copilot for Web, he gives me a Python script to executive, and this is not the answer I will give to her. And the fun thing is, if you have licenses for Copilot for Microsoft 365, you can switch in the Copilot between web, that everyone with Office 365 licenses can use, and work. So I said to her, let's switch to work and let's try the same prompt here in the Copilot for work. And the interesting part for me was that the answer from Copilot for work was much more easier, and it was the same. Interesting, yeah. That's really funny with demos from Copilot. Let's try. Is there a because okay, now he works with Bash and PowerShell. Okay, that's the fun on Copilot, because the easiest way, and that was my wow effect showing this to her, was in the work Copilot. Copilot told her, open the root directory of your zip file and put PDF in the search, and then you get a list of all PDFs in the directories, and you can easily copy this from the search pane to your directory. And it's yeah, that's the fun with Copilot, that you never know what you will get. Let's see if the other wow effects work in the same way like this. So 2 of 2 are not working like this. It's okay. So then I asked her a counter question, and because she's also responsible for the travel expense in our company, and I asked her, Erika, I had a travel expense, and I have a flight, and how do I book the flight into my travel expenses? And her answer was really funny, because she looked at me and says, "Don't ask me, ask Copilot." And I said, "Touche, yeah, that's the right answer, thank you." And I have to ask Copilot this question in German. So because this was one of the uh, demos that don't work if I ask Copilot in English. I'm not really sure why, because normally the English prompts are better than the German prompts. So I will put this in German. I know you cannot understand it, but it's the same question you see on the slide. And if you're in the Copilot for work, Copilot will now look at the content inside of your company and will try to give you an answer outside of this information. And you see the answer is in German. And the fun part is I can easily translate this to English. And this is exactly the same answer Erika will give me if I ask it, if I ask this question to her, because she will say, do not book flights on your own, go to the travel management inside of our company, and they will book the fly and they will pay it. But if you need to book your flight for yourself, then this is for domestic flights, and this is for tax-free international flights tickets, and also something she said to us every time: you need to submit the boarding pass if you add the flight to your travel expenses. And Copilot give me also something Erika will give me. There is a training document with all of the information, and Copilot responses to these training documents. So this is really something that was a wow effect, because Copilot gave me exact the same answer Erika will give me. So this was really great. And this information is in our SharePoint, so in our intranet, and yeah. And This was exactly the answer I was expecting. Yeah. Any questions so far? Okay, then let's go to the next wow effect. So the next wow effect is about Copilot for Microsoft 365 with the integration into Outlook. You know, if you are in a meeting for 2 hours and you come back to your computer and you look at your inbox, then it often happens that you have a mail thread with a lot of emails where 7, 8, 9 people are discussing a topic via email. And you get a lot of emails in this discussion. Normally, the recommendation is to do this discussion in a Teams chat or in a Teams channel because email is not really the right way to discuss. But it does not matter if the mail thread with 21 discussion points is in your inbox or in the Teams chat. Normally, you have to go through all of these emails to see what were the topics people were discussing and what were the important points. And normally, you do not have the time. Normally, you read the mail on the top and hope that it contains all of the information. So this is a real mail thread from my company. As you see, I hide some sensible information. So the name of my colleagues is okay, but there are some tenant names and so on. And my question was, what was the summary of this mail thread? So I have 21 mails from 6 different peoples, and I go to the last mail, and here you have the button summary by Copilot. And um, this is the summary. The summary was in German because all of my mail conversation in this case was German, but I translated the summary on this side. So this was the summary, and I know very well what this mail discussion was about. And you see here, the summary is really great. And the summary is also with a lot of intelligence, because if there are 10 emails where they discuss if the color is blue or red, and the group decided on the end of these 10 emails that the color is red and not blue, then you will not see the discussion in the summary. You will only see the decision. The group decided that the color is red. So this is really a time saver. Also, if you come back from holiday and you see a lot of emails, this summary is really, really great for time saving. And it works in email threads. It also works in Teams if you have a chat group and you want to summarize the chat in the chat group, or if you want to summarize a discussion in a Teams channel, it's always the same results. So the next point is Excel. And Copilot for Excel helps you a lot if you're not an expert in Excel. And this is something we see around all Copilots in this state of the Copilot. If you're an expert in any topic, then Copilot does not really help you that much, because Copilot do not have the knowledge and the experience you have in this topic. But if you're not an expert in Excel, for example, then Copilot really helps you a lot. And once again, this is an real example. I did a tenant check at the customer. So there we check all the most important settings in the tenant for security. This tenant check is based on the CIS standards for Microsoft 365. And one check in this tenant check is that I download the the roles, the people and the roles from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So this is the best way to get a list of all the people that have roles with higher privilege in the tenant. And in this case, this was a really big company, and they decided they cannot send me this list with all the usernames because of GDPR and so on. So they sent me only the roles um, uh, without the name of the people. And for my report, I was I want a list, a number, how many um, uh, how many people have the role as a global administrator, how many people have the role as a guest inviter. So I open up Copilot and I said to Copilot, I need the number of different role names. So this is normally that I will ask a colleague, and here you see the difference between a human being and the Copilot, because Copilot will answer exactly this question. And this was not the result I was expecting, because I don't need the number of roles in this case, but I see it was my fault, because this is a real question for men. I'm not sure if in India it's the same. If you ask a man, can you tell me which time it is? He will say yes, because he can't tell you which time it is. The real question is, which time is it? And it's the same here. So I changed the prompt to a more detailed. I say I want the number of individual role names, how many of each role name are there, sorted by frequency in a descending order. Uh, if you haven't worked with Copilot for Microsoft 365 and especially for Excel, Copilot can work only with tables, so you have to format your data into tables. And here you see the result, and this is exactly what I expected. I want the numbers. There are 33 user administrators, 19 global administrators, and so on. And then I said, I need the same prompt, but I ask Copilot to insert this information in a new spreadsheet, because I want this in a new Excel spreadsheet to put it in my report. And then I was waiting to have this in a new spreadsheet. And then I was a little bit disappointed, because Copilot told me, sorry, I'm unable to create a new spreadsheet. And I was really disappointed, because I thought, hey, Copilot, that's easy. Why can't you do this? And the fun thing is, if you're able to read, and this is one of the biggest challenges in the IT life that people do not read what they see on the screen. I'm not sure if you have mentioned, if you have seen this. Copilot has the possibility to add a new sheet, but not in the conversation. But if you click here, add to a new sheet, I have exactly the result I was expecting. Now you can say Copilot should give me the hint and say, hey, if you look at the answer above, there is a button where you can put it in a new sheet. Yes, I'm with you. That would be the better way. And I'm not sure why Copilot cannot do this click on the button. But anyway, I have the result I was expecting, and this is really nice. If you're an Excel expert and say, hey, I don't need a Copilot doing this, I can do a pivot table and I have this in 2 minutes. Yes, I'm with you. It's the same for me. But in my experience, there are not many people that are able to do a pivot table and bring this answer. And for me, I can do the pivot table, but it takes me always a lot of time to do this sort because I always forget how I can do this sort. But this is a good example how Copilot can help you and um, do the stuff you really need. Again, welcome to the new people in the call. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, put it in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer your questions if you have any questions to the use cases I show here. The next one is not a business related wow effect, but it's a personal related wow effect. I installed some photovoltaic on my house. This is my working house, so I produce now my own energy. And in Austria, you get some fundings if you're doing this. So you get money from the government for the installation. And I had a company that installed me all this stuff, and the company um, has also done all the, the the stuff around these fundings. So the companies said to me, "Hey Christian, there is a web page, and please send us all the information that this web page needs, so we can order the funding for you." And I looked at the web page and I say, "Ooh, that are a lot of points I have to fill out." And normally I would open an email and say, yeah, my title is this, and my given name is this, and my surname is this, and this is my date of birth, and type all this. And then I thought, hey, I have Copilot, and let's Copilot put this together in a table. And this time I use the Copilot that is integrated in the Internet Explorer. So you can open up this and ask this Copilot about all topics in your web page. I know you cannot read the content here because it's German, but that's not really important. So I ask Copilot to put all these fields on this page together in a table. And it's really fast that he does this. And the fun thing is you can click here on Edit in Excel. And now he opens up an Excel with all of these fields in this table. And now it's very easy for me to put here all the answers and send this to my company that they can do the work for me. And this is really something that helps me a lot, not only in this case, but for every information you have in a web page, to bring this in a good way to Excel. For example, a colleague of mine had a web page with a lot of tables, informations about CPUs and so on, and he needed also this information in Excel, and he did it with Copilot, and it works really, really fine. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's switch to the next wow effect. So the next wow effect is one of the biggest use cases I do in my daily life. As you see, my English is not my language, my main language. So I'm able to communicate in a normal way in English. But I see if I have to write very important emails, then it's very hard for me to do um, the good way in English. So if it's hard for me to write something good in German, it's harder for me to do this in a good way in English. Um, and in this case, we had a support case with Microsoft about conditional access, and conditional access is one of my really main tasks in my work. So I'm really an expert in conditional access. I work with conditional access for about 5 years. I do a lot of projects, and in this case, we have an issue with a third-party mobile device management system that was blocked by a conditional access rule. And we opened up the case and had some discussions with the engineer. And then I got an answer from the engineer um, where I was really, really upset with this answer, because he tried to explain me conditional access. And uh, I hit reply and start writing an email in German in the same way I was feeling in this moment. So I was really, really upset. And I show you this answer in German. So this was the original answer in German. And for the people who knows German, they will smile at the moment. Yes, Tuja, you have a question?
Now, just a time check, Christian. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay, okay, thank you. Um, yeah, in German, and I used Google Translate to bring you the same uh, answer in English, and you see that's a very rude answer, and you cannot really answer this to a support engineer in from Microsoft. So uh, I I go to Copilot, and um, I I will insert the German answer, um, and I will ask Copilot, can you formulate this in a polite way in English for a support engineer from Microsoft? And you see the answer from Copilot is really, really helpful. It says the same I want to say, but in a very polite way and in a very good English. And this is something that really helps me. And it's the same if you get an email, and that this is the right the real email from the manager of the support engineer I worked with, and if you reply to this email and he asked me for some feedback, I can do the draft with Copilot. So for me, it's very helpful to do the answer in German, and I can here say do it formal and do a long answer, and then I can generate an answer. And the interesting part is that Copilot will look at the email. He will not only translate my answer, but he will get some informations of the email thread and put it into the answer. And you see, the answer is also in English. Sometimes I have to translate it, and this is something that saves me so much time to in my work, and brings so much a better communication with the people. So this is something I use nearly every day. And I will not switch to PowerPoint back because of time. The next wow effect was a young colleague of mine that came to me and said, "Hey, Christian, I need to create a PowerPoint presentation for some business decision maker about privileged identity management with Microsoft Entra. And I have an idea about the structure. It should begin with the dangers of users with excessive permissions, and then I will provide an overview of privileged identity management and present 2 or 3 use cases to show how and where PIM can be used. And I need this in English, and it should have around about 10 slides. Can you help me?" And my question was, yes, I can help you, but don't ask me, ask Copilot. So he opened up an empty presentation and go to the Copilot and put in exactly the same he asked me. So he's a new security consultant and he needs a PowerPoint presentation. And then Copilot in PowerPoint is working and put things together. And then you have a PowerPoint presentation, and you see I opened up the template of our company. So he uses this template, and there is an overview and some use cases and best practices and a conclusion, and you have around about 9 slides. And this is nothing where you put the slide deck and go to the meeting, but this is a good start for you to have the structure, to have the points, and you can modify it in the way you need. And you see he also use pictures and does a really good presentation. And the last use case I will show you is a similar use case like this. I do a lot of end user trainings for Microsoft 365 where we explain the user the idea behind Microsoft 365, how communication changes if you use chat and channels, and how to use a channel, a private channel, a shared channel. And a lot of customers ask me, can you give us a handout for the users? And normally I say I will not create a handout because it takes really long and it costs a lot of money for you, and people will not use the handout. But with Copilot, I say, yeah, no problem. It will take about 8 hours to create a handout, and I can do a handout for you. And then I go to Word. I start with an empty document, and I will show you the first try. I opened up Copilot in the same way I did it in PowerPoint, and I say, can you create a handout for new Office 365 users? And I explained what I want, and I list all the services. And then I was a little bit disappointed because Copilot said, working on it, and he didn't create the handout here, but here. And this is not really useful. And it's the same problem as you've seen before. If I read what's on my screen, you see press Alt-I to draft with Copilot. So if you do this, and if you put this in and say generate, then you have a handout for new Office 365 users with a little bit a description, what is Office 365 about, and then you have for each application I put into my prompt a short description. What is this application? What is this application for? How can you use it? And Planner integrates with Teams, Outlook, and OneNote, and To-Do is your personal task, and Booking, and Clipchamp, and Delph, and Viva Engage, and Forms, and Insights, and Lists and Loop, and so on. So this takes me about 5 minutes to do the basic creation of my handout. And now I do a little bit of formatting, and I sell it for 8 hours for my customer. So that was my 10 wow effects with Copilot. So my last slide is this, and if you do me a favor, enter this URL or scan this tag with your phone, because I'm very interested, on the one hand, how you liked this presentation. It was the first time I did this session, and I will do it more than this time. So every feedback will help me. And I'm very interested, if you look at all of these 10 use cases I showed to you, which was the use case where you say in your working or private environment, this is the best use case in this presentation. And with this, I open up for questions. Are there any?
Yeah, that's great, Christian. And to be very honest, it was a really engaging presentation. And to be very, my favorite was this export to web form. That's basically really useful. I'm using day in, day out Copilot, but I never thought of using exporting a web form with Copilot. That's a really nice use case for me. We are running a little bit. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
I think we have 1 hour in total.
I guess it was 45 minutes.
And 50 minutes for questions, but it's okay. I'm finished, so it's okay for me.
So if you don't mind, we'll take the questions in chat. If you have any questions, just drop it in the chat window. And we have Leslie with us, who will be starting her session on Viva Wayfinder.
Hi there. Yeah, I am a lady.
No, that was my
That's
bad.
okay. That's all right. I've got a bad because I haven't used the slide template, so I've just got a plain, and I haven't got the feedback QR code, so I kind of missed
No,
that.
it was
that
my
message.
QR
Oh,
code.
okay, right.
Sorry, it was
That's
my
all right
personal
then.
QR code.
Okay.
Leslie, have fun. Thank you all
Thank you very
for
much. Thank
your
you.
attendance. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.